Hey, welcome to SkillCapped. If somebody sent you this video, it's probably because your Duelist play is hot ass. But that's okay, because today we're going to be teaching you everything that you need to know to go from cheeks to fleek with your Duelist play. Let's start out with the most important part of playing Duelist, taking space. Duelists are generally supposed to be the ones on the team to enter site first because their abilities are quite literally useless otherwise. Imagine a Phoenix using his run it back after his team has entered site. It doesn't really make much sense, right? How about when your Neon uses her insane speed to watch flank? Surely there are better ways that we could watch flank, right? Similarly, another reason that Duelist should be the first person to enter site is because other agents have utility that is more important for later in the round. Duelists generally have very explosive abilities meant to make a big impact in a short amount of time. Duelists are also agents who don't provide a team very much inherent value. For example, just by having a Sentinel on your team, you can place a tripwire on flank and let your team know if the enemies have scaled up. Or, as a controller, just by placing good smokes, you can assure that your team is protected from all of those angles. Even as Initiator, you can get a ton of inherent value from just using your info gathering abilities. However, as Duelist, the only inherent value that you can bring to your team is through taking space. This is where many players maybe get confused with the Duelist role. Many people actually believe the role of a Duelist is to get kills, but luckily for us, every agent in Valorant is capable of getting kills. The reason, however, that Duelists generally get more kills is because they have these explosive kits. The whole point of their movement abilities and their quick utility is to help them take space quickly and capitalize on the teammate's utility. The kills are just a byproduct of this. Similarly how Initiators, Controllers, and Sentinels all get inherent value from using their abilities, Duelists also provide a lot of inherent value to their team by just going in, regardless of their kills in the match. So next time you're having a rough match and can't seem to get any kills, think about how you can help your team in other ways. Maybe you don't actually know how to entry site though. That's okay, don't be embarrassed. We'll go over how to use each Duelist right now so that you can play them to the best of your ability. Starting out with Jett, Jett's most standard entry is the basic smoke dash combo. The smoke is intended to provide you cover since you won't be able to shoot right away after dashing. You'll want to perform this combo when your team is close enough behind you so that they can trade you out. Since Duelist's abilities are so short-lived, this part is very important because if you go in too early, you'll just end up dying for nothing and get no inherent value. This same concept applies for every single agent in the game, but it's even more important for Duelist players to acknowledge their spacing since they'll be the ones entering so often. With Jett, if you're concerned about dying, you also have the option of using your dash into an immediate updraft or the other way around by updrafting and then dashing. This will throw Jett into the sky and make it very difficult for enemies to track her. With good spacing, both of these tactics will likely pull the enemy's crosshair away from the choke point where your teammates are entering from and allow for, at worst, a quick trade kill. Agents like Raze and Yoru and Neon are going to entry in very similar ways since they all have very fast movement abilities. In Raze's case, she'll generally entry by starting out with her boombot to clear angles for her. Following behind her boombot will give you a bit of security, and then when your team is ready for your execute, you'll throw out your paint shells wherever you feel best, and you'll satchel away. Similar to Jett's updraft, it'll be difficult for enemies to hit you while you're flying through the sky, allowing your teammates to pick up any kills on those distracted targets. In Yoru's case, he's going to entry just a little bit differently. He first needs to throw out his gate crash, and then he needs to wait a moment for the ability to get to his desired location. Once it's arrived, you'll want to throw out a flash and time your gate crash with right when the flash lands. When done right, this will protect your body as you teleport and give you a bit more security to take hold of the site. You can also use his decoy if you have it available to enter site for your team in the hopes that the enemies will shoot the decoy and give away their location. Moving on to our last real movement agent, Neon. Neon's entries are pretty simple. By using fast lane, you can provide yourself cover to safely scale up the side of sight and then burst out to pinch with your team. Utilizing your stuns, you can make your entries much safer, allowing you to set yourself up for easy kills. Neon, however, is best when paired with a strong Initiator player. Because of her fast speed, she's able to capitalize on things such as Breach's stuns or KO's flashes incredibly quickly, allowing for some really crazy entries. This is why in Neon's case, although she's very fast alone, we recommend communicating clearly with your other teammates to get them to assist you in your entries. Let's talk about some less straightforward agents though, Reyna and Phoenix. These agents don't really have any usable movement abilities, so why are they duelists? Well, in Reyna's case, her movement ability actually comes after getting a kill. When entering as Reyna, it's a good idea to use your leer first and then swing out and look for enemies who are stuck blinded by it. If you don't swing out fast enough after using it, enemies might shoot the blind, preventing you from being able to capitalize off of it. A big power of Reyna though is after landing her first kill, she can quickly press that dismiss button and prevent anyone from trading her out. She can use this to reposition backwards or sometimes even forwards depending on where the enemies are positioned. This obviously poses a bit more risk than other duelists since Reyna needs to get that kill first to access her movement ability. While this does lower her inherent value, she makes up for this with her potential to snowball rounds with her heal and ultimate. We don't recommend playing Reyna for beginners since, as you can imagine, there is a lot of room for you to do hardly anything for your team. But at the very least, if you're having a bad game, you can still use your leer to entry sight and get your team to trade you. Remember, even if you're not fragging, it's still worth it for you to go in first. Finally though, this brings us to Phoenix. On Phoenix, even though you don't have the movement abilities, your ultimate and flash will give you the great security that you need to get onto site and take those fights. By flashing yourself around a corner or out of a smoke, you can provide yourself with a bit of cover to make that entry. Even though you're not dashing out, just being that fearless leader sometimes is all your team needs. The best part is, because his ultimate is only 6 charges, you can basically just farm ultimate orbs and use this thing every few rounds to entry. Now, even though duelists are expendable, that doesn't mean you should be running around all willy-nilly. Remember, if you die before entering site, it's going to be a lot more difficult for your team to take space. This is why it's really important that you're using some form of utility when clearing angles early. Sure, you can get away with dry swinging stuff in lower ranks, but the higher rank you climb, the more people will start to punish you for this. This is why it's important that you're smart with how you clear each angle. Get your teammates to use utility to help you out. Have your Sova drone or your KO flash. If you're playing Phoenix, Yoru, or Reyna, use your flashes to help you take space safely. Or if you're playing Jett or Neon, take advantage of your smokes to help block off angles. Remember that just getting one kill isn't really enough to help your team win the round. The moment the duelist dies, it can become significantly more difficult for your team to push onto site, so you always need to make sure that you've done everything in your power to set your team up for success before you die. Although duelists are prone to dying quickly in a round, you still want to make sure that if you have utility available, you're using it. Finally, if somebody sent you this video, it might be because you didn't say anything for the entire match and popped a surrender vote when the score was 2-3. It's important to remember that it's very crucial that duelist players are communicating with their teammates. In fact, it's almost more important for duelists to communicate than it is for any other role. Since duelists are the first ones on site generally, they can be seen a little bit as leaders. They'll oftentimes be the ones on the top of the scoreboard because they have the tools to help them take duels, and because of that, they will frequently receive match MVP. Since every other agent in the game is basically built around setting duelists up to get kills, it's the duelist's responsibility to communicate what their intentions are within the round so that their teammates can help them. Many duelist players will do the exact opposite and will run across the map to go lurk. The problem with this is that an agent like Reyna doesn't really have any great utility for lurking. An agent like Viper can wall off different areas and make it difficult for the enemies to gather information. She'll create pressure around the map and pull rotates to make her teams execute easier. An agent like Astra can smoke for her team while she's anywhere on the map, so she's also a great lurk option. It's not just controllers though, Sentinels can be great for lurking too. Cypher has some great vision denial, and if he lurks a good pick, he can pop his ultimate to help his team out too. Even Killjoy can be great for lurking because she can hold map control with her turret while listening for info. In Reyna's case though, she doesn't really have much going for her. She could maybe blind to help her take space, but her blind would be much better off if it was used for an execute onto site, considering it also reveals her location. If she takes damage, it might make sense for her to try to lurk a pick to find a heal, but at the start of the round, without being wounded, it really doesn't make much sense. Especially considering lurk kills are generally a bit unexpected, so you won't even really need her dismissed to avoid a trade. It's not that Reyna is particularly bad at lurking, any agent can lurk. It's just that there are tons of agents that would be better off lurking rather than Reyna, since she doesn't have any good tools for lurking. Instead, consider grouping up with your team. I know you want to be a solo player, a lone wolf, but if you wanted that, you probably should pick a different role. Your job is to help the team take space, and if you're taking space that your team can't capitalize on, you're not really doing them any favors. We know you think you're the best player on the team, that's fine, but if you're going to act better than everyone, you have to actually showcase some level of skill and knowledge within the game. Ask your teammates for what utility you need from them, make good callouts so that your teammates are on the same page, and display patience when it's necessary. By doing all of these things, you'll be able to climb effortlessly. After all, Duelist is the easiest role in the game. If you guys enjoyed this video, boy have we got a treat for you. Over at SkillCapped, we have countless games recorded of Radiant level Duelist mains teaching you how to play every Duelist in the game. If you've ever felt like you'd climb faster on Duelist, maybe this is the time for you to switch. With our experts on your side, you'll pick up any agent incredibly quickly and be able to skyrocket through the ranks. Don't waste your time trying to climb through the ranks desperately when there's such a cheap and easy alternative right in front of you. Just click that link in the description below and get started on your way to Immortal today.